Yeah.
Miss,
Finally.
I love you.
I love you too. You look so pretty.
Did I get it together?
You got it together, girl.
Listen, I got my little setup back here going.
I see it. Looks pretty.
Oh, thank you for doing this. Thank you for being
Sure.
with me. I gave you an amazing introduction, but I'm going to go ahead and give it to you again because you know that you are just a light in my life. People just don't know how much you do on a daily basis, Miss Tina, and how you show up for everyone, from being a businesswoman to an entrepreneur to pouring into our kids as artistic director of Waco. Just everything you do. You don't play no games, Miss Tina. You play no games.
Oh, thank you, Cassie.
I love you so much.
I love you too. And it's just what I've always dreamed of doing. I've always dreamed of not having to just work on a job that, I've always worked on jobs that I was able to pour back into people, but I think it's my calling, just to give back to the world. So I'm just blessed to be able to do it every day. And with people like you, I have to say that, when I was looking for a group of kids that I could help, you came into my life and talked me into dealing with middle school kids when I wanted to do high school kids. And I thought I was equipped till they scared me to death. But, and you talked me into, dealing with younger kids. And it has been wonderful because I've been able to be on that journey from middle school to high school. And soon we'll have kids in college. And so you are amazing, the best teacher I know, the best, person who pours into the kids as well. And we are just so blessed to have people like you in the educational system because so many kids' lives, they get a lot of their self-esteem and motivation from teachers. It's so important. The teacher was the one who believed in me. And first, your parents are one thing because they love you, but when someone that is not related to you tells you that you are good and that you could do anything you want to do, it means the world. I'm getting chills just thinking about the teacher that first told me that. She saw that in me, and I needed it so bad at the time. Yeah.
And Miss Tina, you walk the talk, but you show up. The girls, you guys, I'm giving you guys a little glimpse into it. The girls could come up and Miss Tina can know in an instant if that child has something going on. She taps into what their passions are. She taps into who they are and she gives them that dream. And so Miss Tina, thank you for always encouraging. And let me tell you, she will tell our kids, go back and do this. Show gratitude. Be nice to the people in your neighborhood. Be nice to the people in your apartment building. Be nice to the people wherever. And just bless other people. And Miss Tina, tell them how we've seen people do that.
Absolutely. Some of the kids have made such a change. One of the kids that we have, Demarion, who he and I used to be at it every week. Only for me to, he went to Africa with us and as bad as I wanted him to go, I was like, oh God, he's going to be a problem. And I had to be talked into it by Kamisha and Miss Cassie. And let me tell you, we bonded so much on that trip. And what I found out is he was born the same day as me.
Yeah.
So it was these two strong-willed Capricorns, opinionated Capricorns, and he is actually me at his age.
Right.
Always asking questions. Always questioning adults, do you really know what you're talking about? Which is infuriating as an adult. Yeah. But it's how you learn. And he, the change that he's made since that trip has been like night and day.
Yeah.
He's become this leader that leads everybody to be positive. And we've had so many changes like that, so many kids that we could talk about. And it just, sometimes I have to pinch myself because I'm like, this is my dream to affect kids' lives and to change their attitudes because I was that kid that was a hard-headed, stubborn, knew-it-all type kid, and somebody took the time and saw through all of that hard exterior, which is, just the result of some pain and some trauma in your life, and that's why you become so suspicious of people. And it just takes one adult to love you and to see past that and to encourage you. And that is happening every day. Yeah. Our kids are growing. They're doing well in school. And God, I just couldn't be more thankful because it's the best blessing for
Yeah.
me. I'm living my dream. This is my dream. All the things I've accomplished and all the things I've done, this thing is the one that gives me the best feeling.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I love it. And you know, we in it together, and it's the truth. And when we see the kids, you know, we started off with them, Miss Tina, in 7th grade, and
That's
now we
right.
have 11th graders. And so while we're talking about this moment, let's dive into this election, because you were so in the forefront, on the front lines of this voter suppression, Miss Tina, of Breonna Taylor, of when we all can vote. Talk to me about, what did it feel when the election results came through for you?
Well, first of all, you know, I'm out of the country and I'm on vacation, a badly needed one, because I said as soon as this election is over, regardless of the results, I'm going somewhere and try to revitalize my spirit, because it has been one of the hardest 5 or 6 months, and leading up to this election, just people have shown their true colors, and literally, and it's been so disappointing and so sad for me to see all the hate and all of the ridicule that's going on. But I tell you, I made a conscious decision in February, and I said to Trell, who is, you know, I said, Trell, I want to hook up with some organization, because I want to do everything I can to get people out to vote. I don't care what it is, who it is. We have to get that message through, because, you know, a lot of people were like, well, I don't like the candidates, and I don't like this, and I don't like that, so I'm not going to vote. And it was the most frightening thing in the world to me, because I'm 66 years old. So
don't look
thank you. But I have lived through the 60s, and I've seen the marches, and I've seen all the I've seen how far we've come.
Right.
And even though it's in some areas like police brutality, we are still where we were. It's no better. Some things haven't changed, but so many things have changed for the better for us. And we have to keep pushing. We got to keep voting. We got to keep our voices heard. And, you know, when I was a teenage, when I became 18, it wasn't even a thought that I wasn't going to vote, because my parents, even though they weren't educated, they were not educated people. But what they did know is that they had stood in lines, they had been through civil rights marches, and not necessarily participated, but seen what that did, and that they knew how many people died and were beaten, and, you know, about all the ways that they tried to suppress our voice. So for us to have the voice and get the right to vote, it was never a question in my house. At 18, you will be going to the polls. And that's how I feel. So even though, you know, young people had questions about the candidates and about their past, no candidate is perfect. And people change and they learn and they grow. And compared to the alternative, my God, there was no question about it, right? So I got really involved with every day. I made a commitment that every day after I said my prayers, I would do a, you know, I have morning prayer, I have meditation, that I would meditate, I would pray on it, and I would get on my social media and use it to try to make people aware. And then I hooked up with And Still I Vote, which is the leadership conference. And we were able to you know, give people an easy way to sign up to vote, to register. You know, that with our kids, we did a program to encourage them to vote. I mean, I started just working day and night, and I am just really proud to have played a tiny part in just changing a lot of people's minds, because I would have people come.
More than tiny. I know that you love to be humble, Miss Tina, but it was more than tiny. Every time I talked to Miss Tina, our kids were with Miss Tina, or you see her on the news, on any of the outlets, she was using her platform and her voice, Miss Tina. And we're just so grateful. I'm thinking about even the letter that you sent to Congress, the Mothers of the Movement for Breonna Taylor. So bold, so audacious, and you weren't playing no games. And women need to see that, Miss Tina. And so I just want to tell you that I'm inspired. I know all of these people in here are inspired by you. And y'all, she does not stop. It was like another full-time job on top of, Miss Tina, all of the work that you were doing with getting families tested for COVID in Houston and in Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, I mean, That was the first thing.
Yeah.
It's like really, you know, there are traumas that come, and
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of like somebody slapping you in the face, and then you're trying to recover, and they slap you in the face the other way. That's the way our lives have been.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
been, I mean, COVID came, and that was horrible, and
Oh,
it's been so hard for people, and especially our people,
yes.
because we don't have access to everything that, you know, that they do in the economically more charged
Right.
areas.
Yeah.
So, and just our information sources are not the same. We are
Yeah.
given wrong information all the time.
Yeah.
And you know, I just felt like with COVID, that became almost like, you know, I hate to even say it, but almost like a racial divide, because in
Yeah.
Houston, there was no testing for Black and
Yeah.
brown communities. Unless you just were somebody that they deemed worthy of it, people weren't
Right.
getting tested. So the testing thing I'm very proud of, because it not only sparked the testing in Houston, but there were other cities that followed suit, and they did testing, and we developed, along with my church, St. John's in Houston, a
Yeah.
permanent, they test every week for people in Black and brown communities. I mean, they
Thank you.
test for anyone, but those
Yeah.
people were the forgotten ones. And, you know, we were given the message at first that COVID didn't affect us. And to
Mm-hmm.
me, that was just that slight little message to make us go off on the wrong path, you know?
Definitely.
So it's been a blessing to me to be able to do these things, because all my life I've been working since I was 13.
Yeah.
And you know, I've tried to incorporate it, but now I'm able to do just what I want to do
Oh,
for you know, for and give back to the world, which is what
yeah.
I really think I was put on this earth to do.
Well, you absolutely are, Miss Tina. And it's so encouraging. I want to know, like, what message do you have for moms? Because, you know, I'm a mom and I'm trying to be a super mom, and you are like the queen mother, and you take on so many other children. I remember you always tell me that even when you were raising your girls, you had a house full of kids
Yeah.
all the time. Like, what message can you send to mothers who may feel broken, lonely, or just, you know, not encouraged?
Yeah. Well, I've had those times in my life many times. I've been through, you know, I always say that I've been to hell and back.
Yeah.
But what I always remembered is, you know, the day I had my first child, that day I said, Tina, you have done a lot of screwing up, but you're not going to screw this up. So this is the one thing that I'm not going to screw up on.
Hmm.
So I was very conscious. And I think you have to make that commitment to yourself, because, you know, it's funny. Like, you get pregnant, you have a baby, and
Yeah.
you never really, you know, we go to school and we learn all these things and how to
Yeah.
prepare for everything. We learn geography to learn about the world, and we learn math, and we learn all this stuff. But what they should have is a class on parenting, because
Right.
it's the most important job you ever going to have, because
Mm.
you are in charge of a human life. It's your creation, it's your sculpture that you're
Yep.
sculpting.
Oh.
So if you neglect your sculpture and you just half-ass do it, and you don't put your heart and soul into it, then the results that you will get will be a sculpture of something that, you know, it looked like you didn't put your heart and soul into, and that is a person, a human being that's going to
Yes.
affect the world.
Yes.
So for me, I took it so seriously. I read every book I could read.
Yeah.
I talked to other older mothers, because my
Yeah.
mother had just died, like,
Mm.
you know, before Beyonce was born, and
Yeah.
I was so freaking scared. And I think, you know, really honestly thinking about it, and I never made the connection, but I was so afraid of screwing up, because I was like, I don't have my mama, I don't have anybody, it's on me, and I got to do this. So I just tried to listen all the time, not to judge. And you know, whatever my kids' dreams were, their interests, I tried to keep them as busy as I could.
Right.
They were in track, in dance. At 3 years old, I put Beyonce in dance. I put Solange in dance, because I wanted them to have something that they felt good about. They loved it anyway.
Yeah.
I put them in voice lessons, Girl Scouts,
Yes.
Cub Scouts. I mean, anything I could think of to keep them busy. And, you know, it was like, it was a big sacrifice, because I worked really hard, but every Sunday was spent at talent show, at dance things. But I just said, listen, this is, you know, their younger years, and I got to instill all this stuff in them. Yeah. And I also told them, you know, just taught them about telling the truth, about treating people the way they wanted to be treated. You got to teach your kids to be grateful. They don't just automatically come here grateful, to say thank you, to say please, to look people in the eye. I remember when the girls first started off and we were, you know, we were in Europe. And we went to a hotel and they were exhausted, like they were working them to death. And they were so tired, and they came into a hotel and they had a problem with getting our room together, which they always did back in the day. And you know, when the girls finally we were going up to our room, there was a housekeeper in there, and they just walked right in the room and, you know, put their stuff down because they were tired and they wasn't thinking about. And I said, oh, wait a minute, y'all got to do that over again. Did you see this lady in here? Like, she is not a thing. She is not part of the furniture. She is a human being. So you're going to go back and y'all going to walk back in and do this right. And, you know, they were like, oh, God, we're so sick of her. We're tired. But I tell you what, they still remember that. I talked to Michelle recently, and she was like, I remember you always saying, you know, speak to everybody no matter what, look them in the eye, you know, have a firm. It's things you got to teach them. So my advice is that think of the best person that you would want your kid to be and what you need to tell them to become that best person. Not about money, not about success. That's good too. Just really support whatever their dreams are, no matter what they are. You know, make them be what you want them to be. If they want to go to college, then that's awesome. If they're a good student but if they don't want to go to college and they want to be an artist or they want to have a trade, that is just fine. Because the most important thing is for them to be happy and to be, you know, a good human being. So that would be my advice. That's a lot of advice, right?
That was, but it's the truth, y'all. And she even will make our girls redo something again. She will say, I'll come back in, because I think that those little seeds that you plant are of encouragement. And even if you are a mom, you know, who didn't have a mom or who doesn't know, find a mentor, find someone who you love, who you can emulate. Miss Tina is everybody's mentor. And just take that little bit. I think everyone was resonating with that. Miss Tina, the chat was just going up. But let's talk about this now, because, you know, I called Miss Tina last week, y'all, and I was like, well, I got a little broken heart, Miss Tina, you know, and I'm like, and she told me, Cassie, that's the time for you to reinvent yourself. You go inwards, you keep going. And so, Miss Tina, as we are moms and as business women, like, what drives your womanhood? How do you still wake up and be like, because I'm Tina Knowles-Lawson?
Well, I mean, I have had to all my adult life. I guess I would say I had to motivate myself and tell myself I was good, because I had a lot of things in my life that would cause you to be self-doubt, you know, to self-doubt yourself and not to feel as attractive or as, you know, just as women, we're hard on ourselves. And so I would give myself a period of time, and I taught my girls to do this, that you should give yourself a little time, which is what I told you. Give yourself a couple of days to feel sorry for yourself, eat your ice cream, get out. But after that, rise up and say, listen, that's enough, because this ain't worth my tears. You know, I'm just going to move on, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to use this as fuel to motivate myself and to tell myself that I'm good and to value myself and to keep it moving. Because you don't have luxury. You have a daughter. Yeah. You don't even have the luxury of feeling sorry for yourself too long. You can give yourself days, but after that, you got to keep it moving. And you got to get up and do something that reaffirms you, whether it's talking to your girlfriends. When I get really down, I have one friend, Monica. You met Monica. She's crazy. I don't know what, in a good way, just funny. Yeah. Say I need a dose of Monica. And you know, I get on a plane and I go to San Francisco and I spend time with her and I laugh. And she's I don't give a person. You don't give a So I need that sometimes, because sometimes I get worrying about everybody and what they are feeling and what they're going to think. And And, you know, I lessened myself. So the importance of myself. So I think when you go through a bad breakup, just know that my minister told me something years ago, that Tina, that's why it's called going through something, because you know you're going to come out on the other side. You're not going to die. As heartbroken as I was, you know, after 33 years of marriage, and I thought I was going to die because the pain was so great. Guess what?
Ooh.
I didn't die. I survived.
You sure didn't?
And thrived. How about
you
that?
sure did.
Yeah. I at 59 got me came back to LA, which was always my dream, moved back to got a new house, a new car, and a new man.
Hello.
Y'all absolutely can do it at your age. You got your
There it is, y'all. The live is over. Miss Tina just shut it down. She said, baby, at 59, she got a new house, new car, and a new man. I mean, we all wanted to be you, but for real, you guys, she is living and walking and talking it, and that's just it. And I love what you said, to feel it, you know, because even with our girls and just in life, we say lean into those feelings.
Yeah.
Let yourself feel it. Let yourself be in that moment. But you said, you better keep it moving.
Yeah, and you got to get up. You got to get up and say, okay, that's enough. I've grieved, and I'm going to live, and I'm going to move on, and one monkey don't stop no show.
You know what? This is turning into one of our phone calls. Because I'm telling you, after you get off the phone with Miss Tina, you'll get your butt up. You'll go run a lap. You'll be getting your little Ivy Park outfit on. You'll just be together after one phone call. So I'm loving that y'all are getting to experience what so many of us experience. And just, gosh, Miss Tina, thinking about that, 2020 was a whole nother beast because we thought we had it together. And then we got 47 days left. What has 2020 taught you, Miss Tina? What has all of this craziness taught you?
Well, 2020 has taught me a lot of lessons, and some of them are good and some of them are bad. I mean, it's like I said earlier, the realization that people that you thought were one way thought another way. Or when it came down to their money, they chose the wrong side because, you know, it might be better for their pocketbook. They knew what was right. So I am Xing out a whole bunch of people off of my bus, as my husband would say. I'm putting them off my bus. I really feel this was, you know, my mama used to say, the proof is in the pudding. This is the proof in the pudding year. Because if someone could, you know, vote for the other side, and I call it the other side, my other side, because not that I want to force people to think like me, but just to do what's right. That's so obviously what is right and what is equitable. And so if you could not, that showed me the true colors of many people. And that's been very sad, because I'm going to be sad to put some of those people off my bus, because I love them, but I just can't deal with it. That's one thing. The second thing is, I think it's taught, COVID has been horrible because of the deaths and the sickness, and because of the loss of jobs and finances and all of that. I'm so sad about all of that, and I hate it. I hate not being able to hug you, to see my kids. I mean, when I say my kids, I'm talking about the kids that we mentor. Yeah. It's been so many bad things, but the one thing that it has done is, I think it has brought some families closer together. It's created a time and a space for people to be creative. Yes. For me, I know that, you know, if this election had come aboard, you know, about at the time before COVID, I could have the time or the energy to dedicate to just really advocating for people to get out and vote, and doing 5 Zooms a day, and a talk show, and doing all the things that I've done. You know, it wouldn't have allowed me to do that. So I think that what we got to do is, whereas 2020 was really terrible, we lost so many people that we loved. I mean, you know, that's been a really hard thing, and we just want to redo 220. But I'm looking forward to 221, and I'm trying to find the little semblance of goodness that came from all of this. And not a lot, but it's some. So you just got
Definitely.
the right side and keep it moving. We're almost to 2021. We're going to have a new government, and that I feel is going to head on deal with this COVID crisis, because it's, something's got to change. We have a vaccination on the way, so we got to look at the good part too.
Yeah, always try to find that little piece of joy in it. Find that piece of joy. That's one thing. Me and Miss Tina get together. We laugh, we joke, we have some joy, because we need that. And I think that that's really, what started this too, was just even getting on the phone with people. Miss Tina, I remember you were like the first person who called me when the pandemic hit, and you were like, Cassie, get your vitamins, get this,
Right.
get this. And it was just like having that time to connect with others, having that time just to love on people, even despite all of the craziness that was going on.
Right.
All right. So let's go ahead. I'm going to give you some sentence starters, Miss Tina. So here on the time is now. I'm going to give you some sentence starters, just like we did with the girls. And
Okay.
you're going to finish off this sentence, okay? I feel my best
when I am exercising, praying, and taking care of myself.
Yep, absolutely. And Miss Tina is serious about her prayer life, you guys. One of my best gifts from Miss Tina has been a prayer book. And she took the time and she folded the pages for me and Amanda. And she was like, read this one, read this one, read this one. And I go to and I use those, y'all, because we got to have that higher being, that higher power, something to look forward to. And so thank you for that, Miss Tina. Here's the next one. If I could change one thing,
oh, it would be police brutality. It would be prison reform. It would be anything directed towards law enforcement.
There it is. All right. My favorite teacher taught me.
My favorite teacher taught me that I was more than I thought I was. They saw me. Yeah, she saw me like nobody else saw me, and saw the potential. Yeah.
Imagine how powerful it was if we could see everyone, if we could just take that moment and just see everyone. And God, that girl, don't make me start crying in here, Miss Tina. No, because that's it.
Think about my teacher and how she would always say, you just don't know. You don't know your potential. You don't know how great you are. You don't know how smart you are. And at the time, I didn't believe her. But after a time, I did believe her. And thank God for her, because she really changed the trajectory of my life. Yeah.
The greatest lesson your father taught you.
Aggressiveness. My father was a lot more aggressive. My mother was very, very passive. And thank God for my daddy, because he would be, even though she told me always turn the other cheek. And, my mama was she believed in just being this really good person, which was fine, but she was very passive and she didn't fight. But my daddy was a fighter, and he was like, no, you don't need to let people do that to you. If they do that to you, you need to do this. And sometimes it wasn't right. I fighting spirit from my daddy.
Yeah. And just really, just not playing any games.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Miss Tina. And that's what Miss Tina teaches the girls too, to stand up for yourself. She has them say, okay, and she gives them tools. I'm thinking about with London. Remember how London said that there were some people who she was feeling like she didn't have her friends, and Miss Tina gave her tools. She said, well, you can write a letter. And I'm not even going to go to the whole story, but Miss Tina said with her busy schedule, with fighting COVID, fighting voter suppression, she said, you little 7th grade baby girl, call me, and I want you to read the letter to me. And that was so powerful, Miss Tina. I mean, I could just share a list. We got to write a book one day, but I could just share a list of these stories, y'all, because she's giving our kids the tools, and she just, you know, you just spread so much love to everybody, Miss Tina. And so you fill everybody's cup. Miss Tina, what fills your cup?
Definitely my grandchildren.
Oh,
You know, it's just funny because COVID really, you know, put a damper on me seeing them. Like I
yeah.
couldn't see them for like 2 months, and I realized that they feed my spirit. You know,
Oh,
and that that's funny you asked me that, because I really always question myself on what makes me smile the most, what makes me like feel like it's hope. And
yeah.
those kids are so innocent and they're so wide-eyed, and you know, they just ready for the world, and they don't judge anybody. And
Yeah.
so you can learn a lot from spending some time with a little 3-year-old, because they don't have preconceived notions. They don't care how somebody looks or how much money they have or whatever. They are just clean spirits, and they make me laugh and they make me think, and they just make me so happy that they feel
Oh.
whole. They really do.
Oh, and Jules just turned 16. I can't even believe that. I mean, he is just so handsome. And one thing too, Miss Tina, he is the kindest,
He's a kind
sweetest,
kid.
just such a good boy. Like, he is definitely an honorary warrior, you know, and just whenever he comes around, I just can't believe you got a 16-year-old grandson.
16 years old, and he is so smart and comforting to me, because you know, it's funny, I was driving recently on, and went up Mulholland, which I'm
Yeah.
very frightened and scared of heights, you know, driving around mountains, and I got a panic attack, and I turned into this place, and the people were like, you have to get out of here, and I'm like, I can't drive, I'm gonna have to let somebody come get me. And he said to me, grabbed my hand and said, Grandma, you always tell me when you're scared and you feel panicky that you just call on God and he's going to be there for you. And I was ashamed because I didn't remember that at that time, but it just let me know. He grabbed my hand and we said a prayer, and I was able to drive down the hill. And then when we got down there, he said, Grandma, I was scared than you because you can't drive that good. You know, he was scared too, but he became like the voice of reason for me and the man, and I became the kid. And
Yeah.
so I'm just really proud of him. He's great.
Oh, I love that. So tomorrow is my birthday, and I'm going to be 37, Miss Tina. Girl, where were you at 37? What were you doing? What did you, come on, give me some birthday advice. 37.
So at 37, I was working in my salon hard, like 16 hours a day. And because Beyonce would have been 10. Yeah. And she was, you know, the first little singing group or whatever. And I was making the clothes. I was doing what I'm doing now. I was at my church, working hard and trying to find my way, you know, and just supporting her. And by then, Solange was born. She was a newborn. Oh, yeah, she was a newborn. Would that be right? No, she was born 5 years after B. So, no. B would have been 10, and Solange would have been 5. So, I had a 10-year-old. And that's about the time Kelly came to live with us. So, I had 3 kids. I have no time, that's for sure. But
and still in the salon. And it was so funny because I was, you know how we all used to go to the hair shop? I remember getting my hair done as a little girl. And those hair magazines that we used to see, the fly ones, Miss Tina was the one who was putting those together back in the day.
And that's about the time that I was doing that. Ironically, we were doing the hair magazines, and we would have hair shoots on Sundays, and it was a lot of work, but those were beautiful days because I love that hair magazine. And you know, what I did is I got people to submit their work from all across the country, so I was able to support and uplift hairstylists, Black hairstylists. They didn't really have a big professional magazine like that. You know, they were like little small magazines, but this one was a big, beautiful. It's called Hair International. That's funny. That's a good time.
Listen, because y'all remember when we used to go to the hair shop back in the day, you didn't have no Instagram and pictures. You just used to flip through the hair magazine
Right.
and point to what you wanted. So you have just been, you know what, I love that too about you being a hairstylist, Miss Tina, because you pour that into our girls about cosmetology school and all of that. So people who are tuning in, we've been talking about our girls and people have been saying, who is this and what is it? It's a mentoring program, Tina's Angels and Richard Warriors. It's through Waco Center. And so Miss Tina and Mr. Lawson have put their blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, from getting them MacBooks to COVID relief to spending. Miss Tina has spent every Monday probably with our kids from KIP for like the last 4 years, y'all. I don't know how she does it. I mean, from like making them little Popeyes and putting foods together and etiquette. And so that's our mentoring program, Miss Tina. What do you see for the future for Tina's Angels and Richard Warriors?
God, I see them all. I mean, us continuing to add kids every year. Of course,
Yeah.
COVID has thrown a wrench in that. But we add kids every year, and the kids are, I mean, I can't wait till we get the metrics, because now we were able to afford a director, and she's going to,
Yes.
I mean, Cassie has done a great job of that, but obviously she's the dean of students at KIP. And but this young lady is going to put together the metrics, Cassie,
Yeah.
so the change in our kids, because it's been such tremendous growth. I mean, we
Yeah.
have 2 girls that are at fancy boarding schools that are still in the program. And we have this new PDP class, which is like
Yes.
development, where they get to film themselves and they take acting classes if they want to. We try to support whatever their dream is. We have different mentors to come in and talk to them, and I just see the program growing and growing bigger, and hopefully we can have, you know, thousands of kids and go to all the KIP. I have to tell y'all, Cassie is at KIP Academy, is the dean of students there, and it is the most amazing program there, because it is a, I guess it's a public school, kind of public
Like charter school.
and I first heard about it because, ironically, years and years ago, we paid for the whole school to go see Hotel Rwanda at the
Yes.
Academy in Houston. And I became familiar with it. And it's like for inner city kids, you know,
Yeah.
but it's a private school mentality, so that
Yeah.
they teach more than just academics. They also focus on being a good person, being a good citizen.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a great program, and I would just love to expand to every KIP. And I tell you a short story. My niece, I just got off the phone with her, and she is going to start a program. It won't be Tina's Angels, but she's going to start a program in Texas. She's a
Wow, perfect.
rural school in a rural area of Texas that's very redneck and very prejudiced. And the girls have, she said, they have no self-esteem. So she's going to start this program. And so what I'm doing now is writing out all the steps.
Yep.
I hope to inspire people from all across the country to just start a mentoring group at your church. I used to have a mentoring group at my church. I didn't know it was a mentoring group. I just got girls together to teach them about hygiene, about doing their hair and their makeup, and how to walk in heels. They were teenagers. And I didn't know what I was doing. I just at them, and I got donuts. I tempted them with donuts and pastry. And they came in, and it grew and it grew. And you don't have to have a lot of people. I think the first Saturday that I had 6 girls there. But word spread. So you don't have to have all this money or all of that. You can just go take a kid to a movie on Saturday. Get a little sister that you adopt, or a little brother, and spend time with them and nurture them and encourage them. Pay for their prom stuff. I can't tell you how many proms I paid for kids. Like prom, did their hair, got them a dress, or either made them a dress. I've designed so many prom dresses. But somebody who's never had a lot of attention from their parents, or because their parents are working or whatever, and then all of a sudden you make them queen for a day. You get their nails done, you get their hair done, you do their makeup. Let me tell you, it changes them from that time. And what did that take from us? Nothing.
Right.
Nothing. In fact, you will enjoy it. It'll make you happy. So take one kid from your neighborhood, from your church, and mentor them. Because if everybody mentored one kid, think about the effect that we would have on the world.
Absolutely. So that's our call. That's our call to action for today, y'all. On The Time Is Now. Miss Tina, you heard it from her. Find you one little girl or one boy and mentor. and pour into them. Call them once a week. Take them out for lunch. Do that because it changes them. My mentor, who's one of your close friends, Melba, who's my aunt,
Yes.
if I didn't see how fabulous Melba was, the little girl growing up in Compton, if I didn't know that I could have fancy art books on the table from being at Melba's house, and then I would not be sitting on this couch right now. And so it's people
have that beautiful decor you have and be able to plan those weddings and that taste level. Someone did that for me. My brother's girlfriend came into my life at 14 and I was like, Lord, she is so fly. I just want to I followed her everywhere she went. I tried to be around her every moment that I could because to me she was rich, but she wasn't. She was just, her parents were way more well off than mine. But just the exposure of her taking me to see Alvin Ailey when I was 14, that changed my life. So now we take our girls Alvin Ailey because that sparked such an interest in me, and it made me feel like I wasn't less than, because I was down in this little small one-horse town, and I didn't see any people that were living like that, not Black people anyway. I was out of your reach. And so just showing a kid what they could do, and her taking me to a restaurant that had more than one spoon and fork, figure out, to learn how to use my napkin and put it in my lap. That seems like small stuff, but that is huge when you are a kid. I had never been to a nice restaurant. So, exposing, like you said, Melba. And I remember Melba talking about you all the time and saying, well, my little cousin will come over and, and she had a hard time of it, but she's fabulous. And you got to meet her. And thank God I met you. She talked me into, because I was like, I don't want them young kids. I don't want no middle school kids. She was like, yeah, but you just got to talk to Cassie. And she is, and she's a light to those kids. And you could be a light to them. And so you introduced me to those kids. And, I'm just so thankful for that. And I just hope that I know that you have so much talent and so many opportunities, but I just hope you never give up on education, because you are one of the few, not one of the few, I'm sure there's many, but one of the few that I know personally that really love those kids and really want to see the best for them. And it's not just a paycheck with you. So I hope you stay connected in some way.
I know. Now listen, Miss Tina, if Ellen or Oprah called me to do my show, I'm gonna go ahead and do my show. I know. But and you've seen my journey too, from just when we started this, which was a dream of ours. We had this heart together. We want to do this work with young girls, but I'm now assistant principal. I'm gonna open up my own school in Compton in a few years. So we've just been moving, and you've been a constant force in my life ever since the day I talked to you on that phone. And I appreciate you. I adore you. Thank you for just always taking the time just to hear me out and pump me up and get me on a diet and just whatever. You have just been that to me, and you just have taught me so much. And so I love you. Thank you for coming on. I know you are on vacation.
Yes.
And we're gonna do this. We're gonna keep pouring into girls, and everybody on here is gonna pour into girls. And we're going to use our platforms and make sure that we create some real change.
Yes.
So thank you, Miss Tina.
Thank you for having me. Love you. Bye.
I love you. Bye, baby. Y'all, stay with me. So thank you guys so much. I mean, if y'all see that Miss Tina poured into us so very much, and it was just absolutely incredible. I mean, I hope you took notes. I hope that you saw everything that she put in, because I feel inspired right now. Thank you guys so much. Please continue to tune in. Season 2, for the time is now, the revolution is going to continue to march on. We have 5 episodes for you. Just a little teaser. David's working his magic. We got a bunch of things coming off. But I hope you guys to see just the light that is Miss Tina, and just how humble she is and how real she is, and she truly pours into us all the time. So the time is now. Y'all continue to have a great day. My birthday is tomorrow. And I love you guys. I'll see y'all next week at 1.